What if I told you there's a way to make him think about you non-stop, to the point where he's chasing you, craving you, and can't imagine his life without you? These 7 acts will blow his mind and make him fall hard. Stick around, because this is the game changer you've been waiting for. Love is complicated, but it doesn't have to be mysterious. If you've ever wondered what makes a man go from interested to absolutely captivated, you're in the right place. Today, we're breaking down 7 powerful acts that tap into timeless stoic principles and human psychology to make any man fall madly in love with you. These aren't tricks or games. They're rooted in understanding what truly matters to him. Here's the challenge. Modern dating often feels like a battlefield. People are guarded, distracted, and overwhelmed with options. How do you stand out in a way that's authentic and irresistible? How do you avoid losing yourself while connecting deeply with someone else? It's not about playing hard to get or being someone you're not. It's about mastering the art of connection and respect, for yourself and for him. The good news? These 7 acts work because they're based on principles that have stood the test of time. Number 1, the act of calm confidence. Calm confidence isn't just attractive, it's magnetic. Picture this. You're sitting across from someone who doesn't feel the need to prove themselves. They're calm, composed, and fully present. You can sense their strength, not because they're loud or boastful, but because they radiate a quiet assurance. That's the kind of presence men find irresistible. So how do you channel that energy? It starts with mastering your emotions. Imagine being in a stressful situation, whether it's a heated argument or a challenging day at work. Instead of reacting impulsively, you take a deep breath, pause, and choose your response carefully. This ability to stay composed under pressure speaks volumes about your inner strength. When he sees you handle life's challenges with grace, it signals that you're someone who won't crumble at the first sign of trouble. But confidence isn't just about what you do. It's also about what you don't do. For instance, resist the urge to fill silences with nervous chatter. When you're with him, let moments of quiet linger. Make eye contact, hold his gaze, and let him feel the weight of your presence. This isn't about intimidation. It's about showing that you're comfortable being yourself, even in silence. Your body language also plays a huge role. Walk into a room with your shoulders back and head held high. Smile genuinely, not to seek approval, but because you're happy to be exactly where you are. If you're standing still, plant your feet firmly, signaling stability. These small gestures communicate that you're grounded, emotionally and physically. Calm confidence also means knowing when to let go of control. You don't need to micromanage conversations or situations. Instead, trust the flow. If he's telling a story, listen attentively instead of planning your next response. When you're comfortable with yourself, you naturally make space for others, and that's incredibly attractive. And here's the secret. Calm confidence isn't about being perfect. It's about embracing your flaws and owning them. When you laugh off a small mistake or handle an awkward moment with humor, it shows that you're secure enough not to take yourself too seriously. That kind of self-assurance is rare and captivating. In a world where so many people are trying to outdo each other, being calm and confident sets you apart. It tells him that you're not chasing approval or competing for attention. You're simply being yourself, and that's more than enough. Number 2, the act of active listening. Let's be honest. In today's world, most people are terrible listeners. Conversations often feel like competitions, people waiting for their turn to speak instead of genuinely paying attention. But what if you were different? What if you showed him a level of attentiveness that made him feel truly seen and understood? Active listening isn't just a skill, it's an act of love. When you master it, you create a connection that goes beyond the surface. Here's how you can make it happen. First, when he speaks, give him your full attention. This might sound simple, but think about how often distractions take over. Maybe it's your phone buzzing, the TV in the background, or even your own thoughts pulling you away. The key here is to be present. Put the phone down, turn off the noise, and focus on him. Your undivided attention sends a powerful message. What he says matters to you. Next, practice reflecting. When he shares something, don't just nod or say, Repeat back what he said in your own words. For example, if he talks about a tough day at work, you might say, "That sounds really frustrating. It must have been hard to deal with all that." This not only shows that you're listening, but also that you're making an effort to understand his emotions. Ask thoughtful questions. This is where most people miss the mark. Instead of giving generic responses like, "Oh, that's cool," dig deeper. If he mentions a goal he's working toward, ask, "What inspired you to start that?" Or, "How do you see it changing your life once you achieve it?" These kinds of questions show that you're genuinely interested in his world, not just making small talk. One of the most powerful aspects of active listening is embracing pauses. When there's a moment of silence, resist the urge to jump in. Sometimes people need a second to gather their thoughts. Giving him that space shows patience and allows the conversation to flow naturally. Another key element: nonverbal cues. Your body language can say more than words ever could. Lean in slightly when he speaks, maintain eye contact, and use small gestures like nodding to show you're engaged. A genuine smile or a soft laugh when he shares something lighthearted can go a long way in creating warmth and connection. It's also important to validate his feelings. If he's opening up about something personal, don't dismiss or downplay it. Instead, acknowledge what he's feeling. Saying something like, "That sounds tough. I can see why you'd feel that way," lets him know that his emotions are valid. This creates a safe space where he feels comfortable sharing more with you. Finally, remember that listening isn't just about words. Pay attention to what he's not saying. His tone, expressions, and even the way he hesitates can reveal so much. If something feels off, gently ask about it. "You seem a bit quieter than usual. Everything okay?" This kind of attentiveness shows that you care about more than just the surface level. When you practice active listening, you're giving him a gift that's incredibly rare in today's fast-paced world. You're showing him that he matters, that his thoughts and feelings are important to you. And here's the beautiful thing. When someone feels truly heard, they naturally want to open up more. This creates a cycle of connection and trust that deepens your bond. In a world where so many people are focused on being heard, be the one who listens. Not only will he appreciate it, but he'll also find it nearly impossible to forget you. Number 3, the act of authentic vulnerability. Vulnerability. It's a word that scares so many people. In a world where strength is often misunderstood as having no cracks, showing your true self can feel like a risk. But here's the thing. True connection happens when we're willing to be real. When you let down your guard and show him who you are, flaws, fears, dreams, and all, you're inviting him into a deeper, more meaningful relationship. Now let's talk about what authentic vulnerability looks like. First, it's not about oversharing or dumping your life story on him all at once. It's about knowing when and how to open up. Start small. Share a story about a childhood dream or a challenge you've overcome. For example, you might say, "When I was younger, I used to dream of being an artist, but I gave it up because I didn't think I was good enough. Now, I'm trying to rediscover that passion." Why does this work? Because it shows that you're human. You're not pretending to be perfect, and that honesty is incredibly refreshing. When you share something real about yourself, it creates a space for him to do the same. Here's a secret. Vulnerability isn't weakness, it's courage. Stoics like Seneca and Marcus Aurelius talked about facing life's hardships with strength, not by hiding from them, but by accepting them. When you share a part of your journey, you're demonstrating that same strength. It's saying, "This is who I am, and I'm not afraid to show it." But vulnerability isn't just about past struggles. It's also about expressing your feelings in the present. If you're happy, show it. If something he did touched you, tell him. Saying, "It really meant a lot to me when you remembered that I love sunflowers," might feel small, but it's huge. It shows that you're paying attention to your emotions and his actions. What about fears or insecurities? Sharing those can be intimidating, but it's incredibly powerful when done right. For example, if you're nervous about a new job, you might say, "I'm excited, but I'm also worried I might mess up." Notice how that's honest without being overly dramatic. It's a way of letting him see your humanity without making him feel like he has to fix everything for you. Now, let's address the flip side. How you handle his vulnerability. When he opens up, listen without judgment. If he shares a mistake or fear, resist the urge to give advice right away. Sometimes just saying, "That sounds really tough, I'm here for you," is all he needs to feel supported. One of the most beautiful things about vulnerability is how it builds trust. When you show him that you're willing to take off your armor, he'll feel safer doing the same. It's like creating a secret world where both of you can be your true selves without the masks we often wear in everyday life. But remember, vulnerability doesn't mean giving up your boundaries. It's okay to say, "I'm not ready to talk about that yet," if something feels too personal. Being vulnerable isn't about being an open book. It's about choosing to share the parts of your story that feel right in the moment. Here's the bottom line. Authenticity is irresistible. When you're real with him, you're not just building a connection, you're showing him that you trust him enough to let him in. And trust is the foundation of any relationship that lasts. So the next time you're with him, don't be afraid to let your guard down a little. Show him the dreamer, the fighter, the imperfect but amazing person you are. Because when you do, he won't just like you, he'll feel something much deeper. Number 4, the act of respectful independence. Let's talk about independence. In relationships, one of the most attractive qualities you can have is a life of your own. And here's the truth. Men are naturally drawn to women who are confident, self-reliant, and fulfilled outside of the relationship. Why? Because it shows you're not looking for someone to complete you. You're already whole. Respectful independence is about finding a balance. You don't push him away, but you don't cling to him either. It's the sweet spot that tells him you value your own space and goals while still appreciating his presence in your life. The first step is to pursue your passions. Think about the things that light you up, the hobbies, dreams, and interests that make you who you are. Maybe it's painting, running marathons, or learning a new language. Whatever it is, don't give it up just because you're in a relationship. When you're invested in your own growth, it shows him that you're someone who values herself. Imagine this. You've had a long day, and instead of waiting around for him to call, you decide to go to that yoga class you love, or catch up on the book that's been sitting on your nightstand. When he asks what you've been up to, You can share your own story instead of saying, "just waiting for you." That independence is not only refreshing, but also inspiring. Next, focus on maintaining your friendships and social connections. Healthy relationships aren't built on isolation. Spend time with your friends, family, and colleagues. Go out for coffee, have a girls' night, or attend that networking event. When he sees that you have a vibrant life outside of him, it makes him respect you even more. It tells him, "I choose to be with you, but I don't need to be with you." Another aspect of independence is financial autonomy. You don't need to be wealthy to exude this kind of confidence. It's about showing that you can handle your own responsibilities. Whether it's paying your bills, saving for a goal, or simply managing your own life, financial independence sends a clear message: you're a partner, not a dependent. But here's the key. Independence doesn't mean pushing him away or acting like you don't care. It's about creating a healthy dynamic where both of you have the space to grow as individuals while building something beautiful together. Let him know you appreciate him, but also make it clear that your happiness isn't solely tied to him. Respectful independence also means setting boundaries. If you're always available at his convenience, it can create an imbalance. Don't be afraid to say, "I can't meet tonight, I have other plans," if that's the truth. When you prioritize your own needs and commitments, it shows that you respect yourself, and that sets the tone for him to respect you too. Here's a practical example. Suppose he invites you to do something last minute, but you already have plans to work on a personal project or meet a friend. Instead of dropping everything, you might say, "I'd love to hang out, but I've got something planned tonight. How about tomorrow instead?" This kind of response is respectful yet firm, showing him that your time matters too. One of the most fascinating things about independence is how it makes people value you more. When he sees that you're living a full, interesting life, he'll naturally want to be part of it. He'll admire your drive, your passions, and your ability to stand on your own 2 feet. And here's the magic: your independence inspires his. A healthy relationship is like 2 trees growing side by side, each strong and rooted, but leaning toward each other for support. By being your own person, you're not just attracting him, you're helping him become a better version of himself. So, take pride in your independence. Be the woman who has her own world but welcomes him into it. Because when you're secure in yourself, you don't just make a man fall in love, you make him stay in love. Number 5, the act of playful challenge. Let's face it, nobody wants a relationship that feels dull or predictable. Men, just like anyone else, are drawn to excitement and energy. And one of the most underrated ways to spark that excitement is through a playful challenge. What do I mean by playful challenge? It's that lighthearted teasing, that little pushback, or that moment where you confidently stand your ground and keep things interesting. It's not about being argumentative or combative. It's about showing him that you're sharp, confident, and not afraid to match his energy. Think about this. When he shares a bold idea, instead of nodding and agreeing, you might playfully say, "Oh, really? Let's see if you can actually pull that off." Or, "That's a big claim. Are you sure you're up for the challenge?" You're not putting him down. You're inviting a sense of fun and competition. It's like saying, "I see you, and I'm not afraid to engage with you on your level." This act taps into something deeply psychological. Men love a woman who can challenge their thinking or make them work just a little harder. It's not about making him feel small, it's about keeping him engaged. When you're willing to playfully question him, it shows that you're confident in yourself and not afraid of a little back and forth. But playful challenge isn't just about teasing, it's also about maintaining your standards. For example, If he suggests a last-minute date idea that doesn't match your vibe, you could say, that's not quite what I had in mind. How about something a little more creative? It's a gentle way of encouraging him to step up while showing him that you have expectations. Here's an example. Imagine he claims he's unbeatable at a game, maybe pool or trivia. Instead of taking his word for it, you could smile and say, "All right, big shot. Let's see if you can back that up." Now, you've set up a fun, lighthearted competition that gives you both a chance to bond while keeping things lively. Another way to challenge him is by standing firm on your values or opinions. If he shares an idea you don't agree with, don't hesitate to respectfully push back. For instance, "I see where you're coming from, but here's why I think differently." This not only shows you have a mind of your own, but also invites deeper, more meaningful conversations. The beauty of playful challenge is that it makes you memorable. You're not just another person who agrees with everything he says. You're someone who stands out because you're willing to mix things up. And here's the secret. When you challenge him in a playful, confident way, it often makes him want to rise to the occasion. But remember, the key word here is playful. It's not about putting him on the defensive or being overly critical. Keep the tone light, the banter fun, and the intention positive. You're not trying to win a battle. You're trying to create sparks that make your connection unforgettable. This act also ties into the Stoic principle of self-assurance. When you're calm and confident in yourself, you don't need to agree with everything or shrink yourself to avoid conflict. You can embrace a little friendly debate, knowing that it's part of what makes relationships exciting and dynamic. So, the next time you're with him, don't be afraid to throw in a little challenge. Tease him about his bold claims, encourage him to step up, and hold your own in conversations. It's these small moments that create a sense of chemistry and keep the relationship fresh. Because when you're not afraid to playfully challenge him, you're showing him that you're someone who brings energy, excitement, and a whole lot of personality to the table. And that's the kind of woman he'll never forget. Number 6. The act of gratitude and appreciation. In a world where people often take things for granted, gratitude is like a breath of fresh air. It's simple, powerful, and incredibly underrated. Men, like anyone else, want to feel valued. When you show genuine appreciation for the things he does, no matter how small, it creates a bond that's hard to break. Gratitude isn't about grand gestures or over-the-top praise. It's about noticing the little things and letting him know they matter. Maybe he holds the door open for you, remembers your favorite coffee order, or sends you a funny meme to brighten your day. A simple, "Thank you for that, it means a lot," can go a long way. Here's the thing. When you express gratitude, it's not just about making him feel good. It also changes how he sees you. You become someone who notices and values effort, someone who sees the good in others. And that's magnetic. Think about this. If he plans a date or surprises you with something thoughtful, don't just brush it off with a casual, "That's nice." Instead, look him in the eye and say, "You really put effort into this. I appreciate it so much." That sincerity hits differently. It makes him feel seen and respected. But gratitude isn't just about words. It's about actions too. Show him you value what he does by reciprocating in your own way. Maybe he's been stressed, and you cook him his favorite meal or send him a text saying, "I just wanted to remind you how awesome you are." These small acts of appreciation create a cycle of positivity that strengthens your connection. Gratitude also plays a role in conflict. Let's say you're having a disagreement. Instead of focusing solely on the issue, take a moment to acknowledge the good. You might say, "I know we don't see eye to eye on this, but I appreciate how much you care about finding a solution. It softens the tension and reminds him that you value the relationship above the argument. The beauty of gratitude is that it doesn't just make him feel good, it makes you feel good too. Studies show that practicing gratitude improves your mood, reduces stress, and strengthens relationships. It's a win-win. Here's a practical tip. Make it a habit to acknowledge at least one thing he's done each day that you're grateful for. It could be as simple as texting, "Thanks for checking in on me. It made my day," or saying, "I love how you always make me laugh." These small moments add up and create a foundation of mutual respect and care. But remember, gratitude needs to be authentic. Don't say it just because you think you should. Say it because you genuinely feel it. When your appreciation comes from the heart, it's impossible to ignore. In the end, the act of gratitude and appreciation is about more than just making him feel valued. It's about creating a relationship built on respect, kindness, and positivity. And when you make gratitude a natural part of how you connect, it's not just something he'll notice, it's something he'll cherish. Number 7, the act of patience and presence. Patience and presence are two powerful traits that go hand in hand when it comes to creating deeper connections and making someone fall madly in love with you. In today's fast-paced world, everyone is always rushing, distracted by their phones, or overwhelmed by a million things going on at once. But someone who can be patient, who takes the time to listen and fully engage, stands out. Here's the thing. When you give someone your full attention, when you're patient with their thoughts, feelings, and actions, you send a powerful message that says, "You matter to me." And this act isn't just about waiting around for things to unfold. It's about actively being present in the moment, without distractions, without impatience, just being there fully. Imagine you're out on a date, and instead of checking your phone every few minutes or glancing around the room, you focus entirely on the person in front of you. You listen carefully to every word they say, notice the little details about their expressions, and make them feel like they're the most important person in the room. This is presence. It's not just about being physically there, it's about mentally and emotionally being there as well. This act of presence shows that you value their company and that you're not in a rush to go anywhere or do anything else. You're exactly where you need to be. But there's another layer to this. Patience. Patience is not just about waiting for the other person to speak or acting like you're unbothered. It's about understanding that true emotional connections take time to grow. There's no rushing the process. By practicing patience, you're not just allowing the relationship to develop naturally, but you're also showing that you're secure enough to not force things. You trust that love, like everything else, will unfold when the time is right. Being patient also means not rushing someone else's emotional process. You give them the space to be themselves, to express what's on their mind, and to deal with their own feelings. Whether it's a relationship that's just starting or one that's been going on for a while, showing patience during tough times or when there's uncertainty creates a foundation built on trust and emotional security. So, here's the key. If you want someone to fall madly in love with you, focus less on the clock and more on the moment. Don't rush or force anything. Instead, practice being patient with them, with yourself, and with the flow of your connection. When you're present, when you're patient, you create an environment where love can blossom freely and authentically. In Stoic terms, this is about accepting that things unfold as they should, in their own time, and being at peace with that. The ability to remain calm, patient, and focused on the present moment isn't just attractive. it's transformative. So, if you want to see real, lasting love develop, embrace the art of patience and presence. It's an act that requires both emotional intelligence and self-assurance, and it's one of the most powerful ways to make someone fall deeply for you. When you combine these 7 acts, you're creating a powerful, unspoken message. You are a woman of value. You're someone who knows her worth, respects herself, and brings out the best in him. This isn't about manipulation or control. It's about building a connection so strong that he can't imagine his life without you. These acts don't just make him fall in love, they make him stay in love. The truth is, love thrives on respect, authenticity, and mutual growth. By mastering these 7 acts, you're not only making a man fall for you, but you're also cultivating a relationship that's built to last. Remember, it all starts with valuing yourself first. If you found this helpful, subscribe for more insights or check out the next video to keep growing. Let's make this journey unforgettable.